Today, we are diving into a huge paradox that's hitting every single modern business. AI can now build software at, well, almost magical speeds. But is it secretly planting a security time bomb right in the middle of your company? Let's dig in.
This quote from Klarna's CEO, a guy who isn't even a traditional coder, it just says it all, doesn't it? This captures the mind-blowing promise of what's happening. The 20-minute prototype. You can have an idea, describe it in plain English, and get a working model back in less time than it takes to grab lunch. I mean, this isn't science fiction anymore. It's the new reality of how we innovate.
And this new reality, it has a name: vibe coding. Seriously, you don't need to write perfect, complex code. You just describe the vibe, the big picture goal. Something like, hey, build me a login page, and the AI just does the rest. This has totally smashed the barrier to creating software, and now it's a conversation happening in every C-suite.
And let's be clear, this is not some fun new toy for developers. It's a strategic weapon. We're talking about a radical speed up in getting products out the door. We're talking about better collaboration because suddenly, everyone can speak the same simple language. And this is happening at a massive scale. At a company like Google, over 30% of all new code is already being created with AI assistance. It's here.
So it all sounds amazing, right? But, every revolution has a cost. And in this frantic rush to adopt AI for development, we have to stop and ask the really critical question: what's the hidden price we're paying for all this incredible speed? What's the catch?
Well, here's the catch. 45%. Let that number sink in. According to a huge study from Veracode, which looked at over 100 different AI models, nearly half, 45% of all AI-generated code introduces security flaws. That is not a small risk. That's basically a coin flip on whether the brand new code you're creating is safe or not.
So why is this happening? Well, the problem is pretty simple. Garbage in, gospel out. See, these AI models, they're trained on these vast oceans of public code from places like GitHub. Now, that data has some brilliant secure code in it, for sure, but it is also jam-packed with outdated, insecure, and just plain bad examples. And the AI, it doesn't understand security. It's a pattern-matching machine. It just copies the patterns it's seen the most, flaws and all. And this risk, it's not the same across the board. It actually changes a lot depending on the programming language. For Java, and this is a big one, the failure rate is a staggering 70%. Just think about the thousands of huge companies, banks, you name it, that are built on Java. That risk profile is almost unbelievable. I love this quote from a researcher at Apiro because it just nails the problem perfectly. AI assistants are fantastic at fixing the little things, the simple typos. But at the exact same time, they are introducing these deep, subtle, and way more dangerous security flaws. These are the time bombs just sitting there, ticking away inside your applications.
And these time bombs, they're not just some abstract technical problem. They connect directly to real-world business disasters. So when an AI generates a common flaw like a SQL injection, what that really means is an attacker could steal your entire customer database. If it hard-codes a secret password into the code, that can lead to a complete system takeover. These aren't just risks, they are direct pathways to a full-blown corporate crisis. And all of this leads to something called the productivity paradox. You get this incredible burst of speed right at the beginning, which feels great, but then your developers end up spending even more time hunting down and fixing these really complex, sneaky AI-generated bugs. In fact, one study found that for experienced engineers, these AI tools actually made them 19% slower because of all the cleanup they had to do. So, how do we fix this? The path forward isn't to just ban AI. That's not realistic. It's to adopt a hybrid approach. Think of it like a centaur. You let the machine do what it does best, generate that first 70%, all the boring, boilerplate code with incredible speed. But you save that critical, final 30%, the big architectural decisions, the security checks, the actual critical thinking for human judgment, for human expertise. Okay, so how do you actually harness all that speed without taking on all the risk? Well, it takes a plan. So let's walk through a secure AI framework that's designed specifically for you, for leadership. The framework is built on 3 pillars that all have to work together. It starts with govern, which is all about setting the rules of the game. Then you use automate to build a kind of digital immune system that can operate at scale. And finally, you have to educate your teams so they can really thrive in this new world. So let's start with govern. This is the absolute foundation. The single most important rule is this:
A qualified human being must review and approve every single line of AI-generated code. This is non-negotiable. Period. Along with that, you need clear policies on which tools your teams are even allowed to use, and you have to build a culture of healthy skepticism, one that encourages developers to question, not to blindly trust what the AI gives them.
Next up, automate. Look, human review is crucial, but it just can't scale to handle the sheer volume of code AI creates. So you have to back it up with technology. This means plugging automated security scanning tools right into the developer's workflow. By shifting security left, you're catching these flaws the moment they're created, which is exactly when they are the cheapest and the easiest to fix.
And finally, educate. The skills that make a great developer are changing. It's not just about who can write code the fastest anymore. Now it's about who can write secure, smart prompts for the AI. It's about developing a new skill, knowing how to spot the common mistakes AI makes. And most importantly, it's about prioritizing that big picture systems thinking, the very skill where humans completely blow AI out of the water.
So, we have the framework. Now let's get personal. What does all this mean for your specific role on the leadership team? How do you lead your company through this massive shift?
If you're the CTO, your job is fundamentally changing. You're not just managing a team of engineers anymore. You're now orchestrating a really complex collaboration between humans and machines. Your top priority is to build that governance framework and to champion a culture of trust but verify, making sure you don't trade a little bit of speed today for a mountain of security debt tomorrow.
Now, for the CFO, this whole thing is a two-sided ledger. On one side, you've got these incredible productivity gains. But on the other, you have the catastrophic financial risk of a data breach that could wipe out all those gains and then some. Your job is to look at every AI tool through the lens of risk-adjusted ROI, constantly balancing that shiny new efficiency against the need for rock-solid financial stability.
And hey, this isn't just a tech and finance issue. For the leaders in sales and marketing, the security of your product is literally the foundation of customer trust. A single data breach can destroy years of careful brand building. You have to be the biggest advocates for a culture that protects the customer and the brand above everything else.
So, this brings us to the final critical question. AI-powered development, it's here to stay. The advantages are just too big to ignore. So how do you make that leap from a risky, experimental vibe to a truly viable, secure strategy that actually drives your business forward? Here are 3 concrete things you can do tomorrow. First, start a formal risk assessment. You have to know what AI tools are being used in your company right now, today. Second, mandate a review of your development process to make sure that human oversight and automated scanning are locked in place for all code. And third, find an expert partner. This is a brand new frontier, and trying to navigate it alone is tough. The question for leaders isn't if your teams will use AI to build things. It's how you'll make sure they're building a rocket ship and not a hidden time bomb.